When we're talking about securities, we're talking about property. We're talking about your property. Promissory note has, for $500,000 face value on the face of it, the contract, whatever, full value. It's got your signature on it. It's an extension of you, so it's coming from you. A note says promise to pay $500,000. Just picking a figure here randomly, and then you give it to a bank, which is a person which doesn't really exist. So you got to ask yourself, okay, so where did the bank get the credit from in this transaction, this so-called mortgage, this so-called loan? Oh, me. That note is my property. So I want to touch on here this concept of failure or it didn't work. You put that in perspective. I don't think people are understanding when they're talking about property here. How you got to take it seriously. You're standing in your driveway, and at the bottom of the driveway, you've got your brand new mountain bike, $3,000 mountain bike, really nice mountain bike. It's laying there, and then you see somebody come walking along, and it's evident to you that they're going to go for the bike and take the bike. So what are you going to do? Stand there, watch them take it? You're going to go after it. You're going to protect your property. You're going to go after your property. Are you going to go after your property? Suppose he gets away. You're going to write him a letter and say, "Dear thief, please bring my property back." Do you think he'll bring it back? Maybe, maybe not, eh? What if he does? Well, if he does, then it's all done. Good. Make amends or whatever. What if he doesn't? Okay. Remember, we're talking about securities here. Others, entities, so-called, that actually don't exist, or holding or received. And remember, it's only people here, so it's only men and women actually at the end of the day hiding behind these masks that once the exposed persons don't exist and those masks come off. So now we're man to man and someone's got your property. Follow me here. It's not rocket science. So with respect to the securities, if you're sending in paperwork, if you're not getting satisfaction, somebody's got your property. How serious are you going to take it? If you're willing to go after that mountain bike at the bottom of the driveway, $3,000, or a wagon for $200, whatever it might be, to retrieve your property, to protect your property, to get that property, to take possession of the property, to have the benefit and enjoyment of that property, are you going to sit there on your butt, or are you going to get off your butt and do something about it? So you got to take it seriously, right? That's my point. You got to take it seriously. I think everyone, that's why I kind of tried to emphasize before, well, I sent in a nice piece of paper with some fancy, nice words on it. I'm going to get results. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Like I said, dear thief, please return my property. I didn't abandon it, blah, blah, blah. So this concept of it didn't work or failure is, I think, if there's such a thing here, it's that people don't understand. If you want to, if it's your property and you're not getting the satisfaction, what are you going to do here? You just, it didn't work. Seriously. It's your property. Someone has your property with a value on there that's quite extensive for some people. And I can't believe how people just don't take it seriously. And if you're not going to take it seriously, then you're wasting your time. But I guess that's not my point, though. My point is to take it seriously. Do what you have to do to get your property. We provided a lot of information on these videos and stuff, and certainly I Reclaim Your Securities information pack would close up any loopholes with respect to understanding in my mind anyhow. But just want to emphasize here for the purpose of this part of the video is, folks, if you're going after your securities is your property, like that mountain bike or whatever else somebody might want to come and take or have taken. And what are you going to do about it? How seriously are you going to take this? And perhaps it could be for some people, these securities is more value than anything else they ever have had or will have in their lives. It's more valuable than the house, right? Do the math when you pay off the mortgage there. The house is worth against that right now. So, minus the down payment, of course. So anyhow, that's that. Just want to emphasize that, put stress and emphasis on it's your property. How seriously you're going to take it if you don't get the satisfaction you're looking for here. Please. God bless. And so you want to do the paperwork with respect to reclaiming your securities, and yeah, you want to send it in, absolutely, because what are you doing here? Notice, knowledge, it's all part of the process, right? And making your claim, if you got to knock on your neighbor's door first before you bust the door down and to go in and get your property, sort of thing. Not that I'm suggesting people knock doors down, but it starts with a step one, step two sort of thing. So for sure, yeah, the paperwork's in place, the lien filing, so on and so forth, and entitlement order, all that's all done, and that's basically to get that custodian to become the securities intermediary, holder of your property. Somebody's holding it, right? It's your property. Persons, when you really get a good grip on this, persons lack the capacity to do anything. In the legal system, that's known as a disability. So you see, it cannot possibly be the person that provided the credit at the end of the day. And their records might show that, although obviously it's got to be man behind the scene, because without man to act for, think for, and speak for the person, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. So, and that's the deception, they have been treating us as fictional beings our whole lives. That's how it's been. That's basically the short of it. And we've authorized it. We've allowed it in our dumbness, ignorance, whatever. Sleepiness. Sleeping at the helm. Holy cow. How many generations, I wonder. So yeah, it's persons right across the board. It's not a man or a woman or a child, and it's out there doing a business in some way, shape, or form. It's a person. Just look at it that way. That's what I'm talking about. Persons lack, and there's a lot of them out there. Persons have multiple capacities too, right? So there's even more of them out there. You can see how those Smiths in the movie Neil can get pretty massive amount of them. So anyhow, they lack capacity to do anything. So clearly, if there's any commercial value out there, I'm talking in the commercial sense, it's coming from the man or the woman via the form, the paper. Of course, in God's kingdom, we're dealing with the actual substance, right? But unfortunately, the way the system is structured right now with this whole person thing, and everybody acting like a person, walking like a duck and talking like a duck and being treated like a duck and being okay with it. Of course, not knowing that we're not ducks. But whoever controls the paper, unfortunately, the form also controls the substance. And that's not a blanket. That's a general statement. That's not a blanket. Is that way, but that's how the system is functioning. We hold the new vehicle information statement, for example. So that's our car. That's not necessarily so. In fact, that's not so. But anyhow, that's again taking control of the securities is part of it, right? Because that is your property in Wonderland. That's where all the commerce is taking place in there. And it's if you want to give it to them, you can do that, but it belongs to you actually, your estate. So the way it is now, like I say, the governments have I'm just giving this as one example, the new vehicle information statement, or the manufacturer certificate of origin, I think they call it in the US. Government has that, so because they've got that, which is the actual true title to the vehicle, which comes off, it's like the statement of birth for it, and foundation security. So whoever has that, basically they're presuming they own it, right? And as long as you're acting like a duck or a dog, as we talked about, then yeah, they do own it. They do own the car. I told you that. It's like it's registered in the name of the person. It's all tied back to the registration of birth, and that's the name on the ownership to the vehicle, the certificate of title, and this just comes with the original purchase contract, which has the original, the first purchaser of the vehicle when it was off the lot, brand new, not been registered previously. So that's when the title gets into the hands of the government. So as long as you're duck, yeah, the government owns the car, controls the car. Well, they own the car. You're using it as trustee, and that's why you got to put insurance on it. We've talked about all of this. So, but the thing is once you deal with the person aspect, well, then you do own it. The man, get rid of all the persons, then it is yours. So that's why I say it's Not necessarily. It's just depends how you're coming in at the situation. So it is yours, but it isn't yours. It isn't yours, but it is yours. It's all up to you to decide. And first thing, of course, is to deal with that duck thing. Get that person. Get a good grip on that, and that puts you in a wonderful position at that point in time to communicate. So when you've addressed the person thing, then you are now the owner of the form and the owner of the substance. I know the main objective is is the substance. That's of course what people are interested in. But the form is also your property, and that's where the commercial value is on the form side. So, not telling people what to do, just saying that yeah. So once the person's you're clear in your head, okay, persons don't exist, blah blah, and I got the evidence to prove it to anybody else, and deal with it and work it out. And wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. And yep, own the form, own the substance. Of course, with respect to the registration of live birth, that's held in trust, right? I told people, be prepared to be tested. How serious are you about going after your property? And for those claiming my body, my choice, actually, it's not your body, and it's not your choice. I said you don't own any property. As long as you're a son of the country, you don't presumed and assumed to be a person, or you haven't dealt with that, you don't own any property. That includes your body. And of course, the body belonging to the country is subject to the laws of the country, the body being property. It's property, all right. But that's subject to the laws of the country. Do this, do that, or else. See, if it's my body, my choice kind of thing, then why do women go to the courts to get the right to have abortions? Just have an abortion. What do you got to go to court for? It's your body. See, this is the nonsense people have been deceived into. I've got to go to somebody else to make a decision. I'm not promoting abortion one iota here, not at all. It's not what I'm getting at here. Not one iota. It's the concept of going to someone else to make a choice. You say it's my property, but I got to go somewhere else with respect to my property. It makes no sense. Think about it. So no, it's not your body. It's not your choice. Think about it.